What is up, Debt Free Mafia? Hey, welcome to today's video. Hey, how should you spend your first $5,000 to $10,000? This is a great question I got on my Instagram the other day. How would I personally spend that $5,000 to $10,000 if I wanted to start investing? Which is a really good question. We're going to answer that. Guys, if you don't know me, my name is Rick. I'm a financial coach and the owner of the Debt Free Mafia, and I wanted to talk today about a little bit about investing. Now, I will preface this by saying this is not official advice. I am not a financial advisor. You do have to have a license to do that. It's actually a felony if you do give investing advice outside of that profession. So I don't give any advice, but I can tell you what I would personally do with that kind of money. So I am a big fan of doing the slow but steady growth plans, right? So a lot of people in today's world, especially in millennials, and a lot of people in Gen Z and TikTok, we just talked about, we had a video about cryptocurrency. A lot of people just want to throw $5,000 at something and become rich overnight, and I get it. That's super attractive, right? That's something that you'd see in a movie script of something just going fantastic for somebody. That's good and well and all, but I'm actually not a fan of becoming wealthy overnight because there tends to be a lot of issues that come with that, and that's backed up actually in the Bible, believe it or not. So kind of wanted to talk about that. What would I personally do with that $5,000 to $10,000? Now, as you know, we have a step-by-step program on what we have for becoming financially bulletproof, and I am going to run through those real quick if you're not familiar. So first things first, you'd have a very small emergency fund. So this is your starter emergency fund. It's $1,000 to $2,000 set aside in a savings account. This is to account for hot water heater going bad, car blowing out a tire, random storm weather on your house that insurance isn't going to cover, in emergency room visits, etc., etc. Vet bill, you know how it is. It's just all these things kind of randomly come up. The reason why we advise $1,000 to $2,000 is because it's always like when something happens and goes wrong, it's almost like they happen in threes. For example, I talked about this here earlier, but earlier this year, we found out we owed on our taxes. My truck's brakes went bad. Had a couple of emergency room visits, and it was just like one thing after another. Things kept. Oh yeah, and I had a battery go bad on my truck. So lots of truck expenses, taxes, medical expenses. It just was a lot, and it always seems to happen all at once. When it rains, it pours, right? So we want to make sure that we have a small emergency fund. Second one is we're going to be using the debt snowball to pay everything off. $5,000 to $10,000 is a great way to take a chunk out of that, right? So we want to get debt free. We want to pay that off, smallest to largest debt in that order. Next step, that's going to be having a bigger emergency fund. So if you don't have a 3 to 6 month emergency fund, I strongly recommend that. If you got a budget, just take what your monthly expenses are, multiply it by at least 3. That's what you want to have set aside in a money market account for emergencies. So big emergencies, right? That's for basically what you want. You want it to be enough to cover all of your out-of-pocket expenses when it comes to medical care, because medical debt is actually the number one cause of bankruptcy in America. So you want to make sure that it at least covers that. That would be the biggest thing I'd want it to cover for you. Okay, now the next step. That's the fun part, right? That's when we start to be making money with our money. So let's say that we are on step 4, which is we're going to start working on investing and either or saving for a house. So this is a chance for you to decide, hey, do I want to focus on saving a down payment for a home, or do I want to start investing? And you kind of need to do the math there. You need to do some crunching, some numbers. This is also a good spot if you do want to hire a financial coach. They can help in all these different areas. But you might want to divvy up that money too. You might want to take part of that money and use it for your savings for a down payment on a house, and then take the rest of it to start saving for retirement, right? The earlier you can start saving for retirement, the better. I still would want you to prioritize paying off debt first. Not your mortgage, everything else but your mortgage. But I do want you to prioritize that, then let's start investing. So what we would do to start out, so this is my biggest thing. I want you to make sure that you're matching, at this point, I want to make sure you're matching your company's contribution. That's free money. So for example, there's a lot of really great companies in the oil and gas industry. That's where I'm located, is in oil and gas country. A lot of those companies, they have really generous retirement plans, right? When I first started working for General Electric Oil and Gas, their match was 8%. So that was just free money, right? So you want to make sure that we're prioritizing that. That might limit our contributions because our paycheck's going to be net going to be smaller. So want to make sure that we're taking advantage of that, right? So everything else after that, this is what I would do personally if I had extra cash. Let's say I inherited it, or found a scratcher on the ground and won some money, right? Whatever it is, let's say I net $5,000 to $10,000. What I would do is I would take that money and I would either find a professional that I trusted, who is a professional investor, who is incentive based, not fee based, right? We want them to make sure that they are making money when we make money. You could do that as an option, or you could brave it yourself and do your own homework, which I strongly recommend that you're doing your own homework. And I would find a beneficial Roth IRA. If you don't know what a Roth IRA, I know it sounds kind of scary, but essentially it's a fund that you pay taxes on as you contribute up front. So you pay your taxes on it up front, and then you put it into this fund, and this fund is essentially, there's all kinds of different ones. They're a group of different businesses that somebody else manages. And what they do is they make sure that it's bringing you a return. Ideally, our goal is that we want it to keep up with the S&P 500, which is 12% over the last 30 years. So that's what we want to keep up with. And we want to be maxing out our Roth IRA first and foremost. If you don't know that, I can't remember what it is right off the top of my head, what you can contribute a year on a Roth IRA. It's like 15,000, 9,000 or 15,000, somewhere in there. I'm actually going to look it up right now while I'm talking to you guys. But I want you to max out that, because the cool thing about a Roth IRA is every time you contribute to it, you pay taxes on it up front, so that when you decide that it comes to maturity and you want to cash out, that money's all yours. You don't have to pay taxes on it. Let me look. How much? Okay, so yeah, I was a little off. So it's $6,000 a year that you can contribute to a Roth IRA, $7,000 if you are 50 or older. So that's a good chunk of change. A lot of people can't max that out, but if you can max that out, you can go ahead and pay. So let's say you do have $10,000, you can pay $6,000 towards your Roth IRA if you're under 50. And then what you can do is you can take the rest. And the next step, what I would do personally, is I would find a solid index fund. There's all kinds of index funds out there, but I would find one that has a really, really good track record, has had a really good return. They have popular ones. You can use websites like Vanguard, who have some really great index funds. If that's something that you do and you're watching this video, just let me know in the comments what index funds, what mutual funds are you, what IRA accounts are you using. Mutual funds are another option that you could do that are very similar to the index funds in different ways, but go ahead and let me know which ones are you using, just because I'm curious from my subscribers what they prefer. Maybe that'll help somebody else. There's all kinds of experts out there when it comes to investing. I strongly recommend, if you are going to find an expert, make sure that they're licensed, first and foremost. Don't go buying a course, because I think there's a lot of scam courses out there that give bad information. Be very cautious with it. There's resources out there that you can find, accredited investors, or again, you can do it on your own with resources like Vanguard, and you can go through and look at their proven track records. You can also find information on other blog posts on what people prefer. But I would just be sure to do your homework, be sure to follow the steps in order, because we do want to be financially bulletproof. I'd hate for you to be investing so much and then something happen on the back end with some debt, and it caused you to get into a point where you can't invest anymore. I want you to be at peace with your finances while building wealth, not anxious while building wealth, right? That's not the point of being debt-free, right? So we want to live a peaceful life. I hope that was helpful. I really appreciate the questions on Instagram. Every now and then I pop in and ask questions, or ask if people have questions, and I like to cover them here on YouTube, just because it's a little bit hard to cover all this information on Instagram, but that's where I'm the most active. You can connect with me there. Guys, if you are down with the debt-free vibe, go ahead and hit subscribe for me, hit the like button. Again, let me know, what are your investment interest below? What do you prefer to do? I'd love to know. I'm just curious. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you later. Peace.